Happened to all of us. You spent all night making music, jamming to some bangers, you save it and you're excited to listen to it the next morning. You come downstairs, you put on your headphones, and you realize, this fucking sucks. So what do you do about it? Today, we're gonna talk about why our music sucks and what we can do about it. I'm gonna try to give you some actual practical tips that you can use, and not just mindset stuff, but some of it will be a little mindset-y. All right, let's get into it. This is a light. It turns on and it turns off. But this is a fan. Once you turn it on, it's constantly using momentum that's picking up and making it go faster and faster and faster and faster. And you're probably wondering, why the fuck are you telling me this? I know the difference between a light and a fan. And one of the reasons that you think your music sucks is probably because you're thinking about it like a light. It's either on or it's off, it's good or it's bad. Except your music and your creativity in general is more like a fan. Once you turn it on, once you really start working, it's going to start using that momentum. So what do? How do we change that mindset from on, off, good, bad to momentum? My practical tip for this one is to take notes. And the reason that you're going to take notes is to help you understand the patterns of your own music and your own creative process. But the reason that you're writing these notes is to understand these patterns. Maybe you find that every time you start a track with chords and then try to get to finish it, you hate it, it sucks. But every time you start with bass, you're always able to make a finished track. When you start taking notes, it helps you understand that your music as an entirety doesn't suck, that there's only some parts that are kind of sucky. All right, full disclosure, totally stole this from something I saw on the internet one time, but I still think it's great. Absolutely applies to music and just any creative endeavor in general. So tell me if you can read this. Probably not. Can you read it now? Yeah. You think your music sucks because you're too fucking close and you spent too much time with it. And it's okay. We love it. It's our baby. But sometimes you need to take a break. Like literally take a break. This practical tip is go the fuck to sleep. Like actually rest. Turn off the TV, turn off the computer, stop watching all the goddamn tutorials, stop looking at Instagram of people who have a life that you want that you don't have yet. Get away from it, step away. Sometimes we're too close to our own work that we fucking smother it. So you need to relax, back off, give it some time, and then come back to it with a new perspective. All right, I'm gonna use this paper plane and I'm gonna hit the phone perfectly. I'm gonna back up a little bit, give myself some space. Fuck, okay. Damn it. Shit. Oh, it's close. Just like, oh, no. Making music is kind of like flying a paper airplane. You do your absolute best to perfect the paper airplane, but once you throw it and it's out of your hands, you kind of just have to deal with the elements and whatever else is going on around it that make that paper airplane fly. Always show up and never expect anything. The world doesn't owe you shit. Nobody owes you anything. If you show up often with high expectations, you end up getting burnt out. If you show up sparingly with high expectations, you kind of get fucking jaded from your lack of practice. But if you show up often with no expectations, you're open to a world of possibilities and you're willing to learn. And if you never show up and you don't have any expectations, you might have cracked the code. All right. Apologies in advance. I was gonna go to the grocery store and get these fruits, and it was gonna be really cool, and it was gonna make a great part for the video, but I just didn't do it. So we're gonna hope that some editing magic works. All right, so here's an orange, and here's an apple. We've all heard the comparison thing. You can't compare apples to oranges because they're both different, and one's orange and one's red, and they taste different, blah, 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 blah. But see, your comparison problem isn't apples to oranges. It's a little bit more of apples to apples. These quite possibly could be the same apple. I don't know. Picture came from the internet, but they look kind of different, but they're also the same type of apple. They could have grown on the same exact tree, but yet they still look different. You're comparing yourself to people on the internet that have maybe a similar lifestyle to you and they're doing a little bit better. Maybe they look like you. Maybe they kind of sound like you and they're doing a little bit better, but they're not you. They don't have your life experiences. And sometimes you are doing the apples to orange comparison when you're comparing yourself to somebody who has a completely different lifestyle, completely different upbringing, completely different experiences from you. And that's why you feel like you suck. So what do? I have kind of two practical tips for this one. The first one is to get off of social media as much as you can. Get off of really all of the platforms that cause you to compare yourself to somebody else. You can put a timer on or you can delete it. Do whatever makes you feel better if comparing yourself to other people is the problem. And then the second practical tip is kind of more to deal with you comparing yourself to your previous self or what you think your future self is going to be. And that is to just understand that every time you sit down and make music, you're coming from a place of different experiences. And it's basically like sitting down with a new life every time that you're sitting there. Because you're bringing the week's experiences, the day's experiences, maybe that shitty day you had at the office on Tuesday is now affecting you when you're making music, but it didn't affect you 8 months ago at your other job when you made that hit, right? So you have to understand that every single day you're creating almost as a new person with new experiences. And I know that sounds kind of weird and kind of woo-woo, hippie-ish and shit, but I think it's the truth. That one's a little bit more mindset. It's a little less practical, but I think it's helpful. If I wanted to test my win percentage, do you think I'd have a better chance if I just got to shoot one shot or if I got to shoot 10 shots? Let's see. All right, here goes one shot. So I'm 0 for 0, which not good. All right, let's do 10. 1, 2, 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 5, 6. Damn, I suck. 1 and 1 for 10. I only made 1, right? But 1 out of 10 is still better than 0%. Your problem might be that you're just not making enough music. You're not giving yourself enough chances to score. So what do? This is probably an obvious practical tip, but make more music, even if it's just 15 minutes a day. And I know that sounds like some stupid ass fitness, middle of the night web infomercial bullshit, but it's for real. If you literally sit down 15 minutes a day, even if you put BandLab on your phone or like the Koala sampler or whatever, you just keep flexing that muscle, eventually you're going to make one. That was a little lame, but whatever. All right, little backstory though on this. I have an almost 2-year-old who is a sick baller, absolutely loves playing basketball. So we set this up for him on their door, which also has these really dope stickers on it. Check out this sick ass Spider-Man. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you some backstory on this hoop because I think it's kind of cool.